Hi y'all, today we are organizing my spice cabinet because it really needed it. Also, I had just gone to Sam's Club, and while I was there, I had purchased all of the spices that I had run out of. I thought I had hit record before I started pulling things out. Turns out I didn't, but I hadn't actually done any organizing yet, so props to me. I'm not going for anything Pinterest worthy here, just functional, and much more functional than what I had going immediately before this. Although I will say the end result is pretty satisfying. What you're going to see me do first is go through all of my smaller spices and separate out the ones that I have larger containers of. Then I'm going to combine the small containers that I have with the larger containers. When I started doing this, I was trying to show you what the spices were, and then I realized you probably can't read them. So I stopped doing that. I do not like these small spices, unless it's something that I just do not use. I really like using spices in cooking, and I actually don't use a lot of spice packets like the ones you saw me put in that first ride container. Like, I don't buy taco seasoning, I just mix the spices together directly into my taco meat. But for things like pumpkin pie spice, or allspice, or clove, I don't need big ones of those, and I rarely ever use them. Of my big spices, there are a few things that I probably will not use up within a year. Those things include ground cinnamon, lemon pepper, and maybe thyme, because I just don't use it that frequently. Everything else I use on a fairly regular basis. There are actually a couple of spices that Sam's Club didn't have that I would like to have. My goal is to have this whole bottom shelf filled with similar containers that are all similarly labeled. But for now, this will do. I also have a whole bunch of these glass containers with black lids. Those are spice mixes that my mom gets at Tuesday mornings, and she likes to buy them for us to try out. So those are left out unless I have a duplicate so they can be used up. I had to buy so many spices whenever I went to Sam's Club this time because back in 2019, when we decided we were going to move back to my hometown, I stopped buying large spices because I didn't want to have to move them, and then it took us a year to move. Since moving, I've been to Sam's Club twice. Once, it was a blizzard outside, and I had to take my little tiny orange car, and so I had to minimize what I bought. The second time, it was my anniversary, and we were going to have to make a couple of pit stops, so I only bought what was absolutely necessary. I've thought really long and hard about those cute little spice containers with the little matching labels, and they just don't make any sense to me. Like, where do I keep the extra spices that don't fit into those little containers? Because standard spice bottles are larger than those containers, so you can't put a whole bottle into your small container, and then you have to find somewhere to store it. It doesn't even make sense. Like, yeah, it looks cute, but it's not very functional. Another one of my goals is to make my own spice mixes. Like, in the back, I have lemon pepper and Cajun seasoning and spaghetti seasoning and ranch seasoning, and I just don't like some of the ingredients that are included in these mixes. So one of my goals is to figure out recipes to make my own mixes. I already know how to make my own taco seasoning, so it's kind of the same concept. I don't know if it'll be this year, but I'm excited to try to make my own onion powder and garlic powder. This has been a thing that I've wanted to try for a while, but I just haven't really had the opportunity to do so. I'd also like to do the same thing with dried herbs. I don't think that I will get an herb garden in this year, but hopefully next year we can get one of those in, and then I can start drying my own herbs to use in my spice cabinet. The second shelf is where I keep my cooking oil and pan spray, as well as my honey and peanut butter. These two large jugs that you'll see me putting up are extra virgin olive oil. That is what we use 90% of the time. We also keep on hand extra virgin coconut oil, which I get from Thrive Market, MCT oil, which I also get from Thrive Market, and ghee, which I also get from Thrive Market. Sam's Club actually has the best price on extra virgin olive oil though. Now I'm just pulling everything off the top shelf. Whenever we first moved into the house, we did Whole30, and you can't eat rice or pasta on that, so I just threw all that stuff up on the top shelf and then never took it down, and then I never reached for it. So now I'm just gonna move that somewhere else, and I'm gonna put things that we don't use very frequently up on the top shelf, like cake mixes and baking supplies. If you guys like this video so far, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, leave me a comment and tell me what I can do to fix it. What can I do better? Interaction on my videos is the best way to get YouTube to share my videos with other people who aren't already subscribed. Also, if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe to my channel. I can't get monetized until I have 1,000 viewers. So if you guys could help me out by subscribing, that would be greatly appreciated. I have a whole bunch of unsweetened shredded coconut because it was on sale at one of our local stores. So I bought a whole bunch of it, and I'm just putting away some of the excess. I have one very large bag of powdered sugar that I break into like once a year. So it's gonna get put into a Rubbermaid container. Just ignore all the background noise because my children are just running around in the background. I'm using the Rubbermaid containers to organize that awkward corner space in my cabinet for things that I just don't use very often or that I have excess of, and then I'll pull them out as I use them. The more I watch this, the more I just really want to reorganize my entire kitchen. So I think I'm probably going to do that. I'm not entirely sure when, but probably sometime after January gets over, I will try to find time to do that. All right, I just want to walk you through kind of how we ended up here. On the bottom left-hand side, we have all of my Sam's Club spices. Like I said, my goal is to make this whole bottom shelf all similar containers. I think I'm just going to save these Sam's Club spices as I use them up and fill them up with some of my other spices, and then I'll probably relabel them. On the right side, I have all of the Tuesday morning spices. I don't know what brand they are. If you're interested, I can look it up for you. And then a few just miscellaneous spices that I have. And then some dried pepper sprinkle that we made from our gardens. We actually have some pepper sprinkle that is Carolina Reaper. It's spicy. The second shelf, I have all of my cooking oils, pan sprays, peanut butter, and I think there's like vinegar and some sesame oil, as well as my cornstarch, which I do use fairly frequently. And then my top shelf is mixes like brownie mix and cake mix, and some shredded coconut, some chia seeds, some protein powder, some, what's that? Flaxseed. And then like cocoa powder and baking powder and vanilla and almond extract and some corn syrup. All right, guys, that is all I have for you today. Like I said, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, leave me a comment. Tell me what I can do better. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, y'all.